Hello smart apes. Why do we have art? Does anyone know what is art? Is it a banana on a wall? Is it a scientifically correct giraffe skeleton made of gold? Is a dot art? Is this video art? Is anything art? There are too many questions about something we have made ourselves. Let's start with the basic. When did art appear? The first form of art was the Venus of Tantan, a sculpture found on Morocco, on the Drara River. It's between 300,000 and 500,000 years old. Sculptures were made to spiritual purposes and representation, so the first forms of art were very spiritual. The first paintings were 3 wild pigs painted deep in a limestone cave on the Indonesian island of Sulawesi at least 45,500 years ago. Besides from looking good and being newer than Rick Rolls, Rupestrian art was used to delimitate territory, tell stories, and pray to the gods. So, the first paintings were very functional. Then surged petroglyphs, rock carvings used to transmit messages and tell stories, like an older form of writing. That started 36,000 years ago. Sumerians invented writing in clay tablets to record transactions, trade agreements, and laws. Even more functional. Architecture started in the Neolithic, 12,000 years ago. Although the first construction ever was the Olduvai Gorge in Tanzania, 1.8 million years ago. The origin of music isn't really well known. It was about 300,000 and 12,000 years ago, because the oldest known music is the Hurrian hymn to Nitkal, 3,400 years ago. It is a dedication to the goddess Nitkal, for power and protection. Obviously, before dance, that appeared in paintings in India 10,000 years ago. 4,000 years ago, the first poem was written, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It tells the story of the king Gilgamesh and his quest for immortality. Then theatre, in 472 before Christ, the first play was called The Persians and theatre was later, on the 5th century picked up by Greece. More recently lots of forms of art were created, conceptual art in the 60s, installation art in the 70s, photography in 1827 with View from the Window at Le Gras, and finally movies in 1888 with Louis Le Prince's Roundhay Garden scene. It's a lot of art, and we didn't even start on what is art and what is it for. So, art was created for spiritual and functional purposes and evolved into a form of expression. Art exists for anything, is normally used as a form to say what we think and feel, can be used just to look good, can be used for functional uses. If you want to, you can use it to swipe your bottom. I'm not kidding. The toilet paper man of Australia sells 22-carat paper rolls for $1.3 million US. Consider that art if you want. I consider it a faster way to burn money. Now, what is art? Is it this? Is it Jackson Pollock's Number 5? America by Mauricio Catalan? Or someone doesn't know what to make with his money, or I really don't know who is buying this. And most art can't be sold or bought. Plaintiff Kyle Hanagami is a professional choreographer and dance instructor in Los Angeles. In 2017, he made the Fortnite dances, but without knowing, as they were stole for him by Epic Games. The only problem is that you can't copyright simple moves. Nowadays thousands of 9-year-olds are dancing those dances and there's nothing we can do. There really isn't a problem with that. That is exactly what happens with TikTok. Someone makes a dance and then everybody is doing it without giving credit. Does that mean that simple dance moves aren't art? What is the definitions of art? Is a book by Stephen David, but what is the definition of art? According to Oxford is the expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form such as painting or sculpture, producing works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. It's actually a good definition, but it doesn't explain why I can consider a tree art and it didn't require human skill or imagination to do it. We could say the Amazon logo is art, and it also didn't require any skill or imagination to do. So we can conclude that art isn't well defined, because it's anything you want and can be used for anything you want. Everything can be considered art, with the exception of the Amazon logo. Goodbye smart apes.